There's a silent, almost imperceptible moment when two gazes meet for the first time. In that instant, something beyond the rational mind awakens, something that transcends the physical and touches the deepest layers of the soul. Have you ever wondered why certain people instantly capture our attention, while others, equally beautiful or interesting, simply go unnoticed? Why is there this inexplicable chemistry that arises at the first meeting of glances, this feeling of familiarity with someone we've just met? The answer to these questions goes far beyond what conventional science can explain, and Edgar Cayce, the visionary known as the Sleeping Prophet, offers a revolutionary perspective on what really happens in these magical moments of recognition. When Edgar Cayce entered his altered states of consciousness, he not only revealed truths about healing and destiny, but also unveiled the deepest mysteries of human connections. In his readings, he frequently spoke about how our souls carry memories of past lives, and how these memories profoundly influence our reactions and choices in the present. What the male brain sees first in a woman isn't just a matter of physical attraction or biological instinct, it's the awakening of a soul memory, a recognition that comes from much deeper dimensions of existence. Imagine for a moment that you're walking down a busy street, surrounded by dozens of people. Suddenly, your eyes meet those of a woman, and something inside you lights up. It's not just her outward beauty that catches your attention, there's something more, an indefinable quality that resonates deep within your being. Edgar Cayce teaches us that this moment isn't coincidental, it's the result of connections that transcend this current life. It's your soul recognizing another soul with which it has already shared experiences in other existences. The male brain, according to Cayce's revelations, doesn't process physical aspects first, as modern society has led us to believe. In fact, on a much subtler and deeper level, it registers the woman's spiritual energy, her essence, her inner light, the vibrational frequency emanating from her soul. It's as if there's a spiritual radar operating below the level of ordinary consciousness, detecting signals that speak directly to the heart and the soul's memory. Think of the times you've been inexplicably drawn to someone who perhaps didn't fit conventional beauty standards, but who possessed something special, a magnetic presence you couldn't define. This mysterious attraction is what Cayce called karmic recognition, your soul identifying another soul with which it has been connected in past lives. It may have been a mother, a sister, a wife, or even a daughter in another incarnation. The bond isn't lost with death. It transforms and returns in different forms with each new life. The Sleeping Prophet spoke about how our current relationships are opportunities for healing and growth based on shared experiences in other existences. When a man feels this instant and inexplicable attraction to a woman, it's not just carnal desire manifesting, it's his soul crying out for completeness, for resolving unresolved issues, for expressing love that was incomplete in other lives. It's as if every encounter is a chance to rewrite a story, to heal old wounds, to express feelings that were once suppressed or interrupted by circumstances beyond our control. Edgar Cayce also revealed that there's a fundamental difference between how men and women process these spiritual connections. While women tend to feel these connections through intuition and the heart, men often experience them first through an attraction that seems purely physical, but which is actually the outward manifestation of a soul's calling. It's as if the male soul has to translate its spiritual needs through the language of the body, because that's how it learned to express itself over many incarnations. But what exactly does the male brain see first? According to Cayce, it's not the eyes that see first, it's the soul that recognizes. The first registration is energetic, a perception of the light emanating from the woman's being. This light carries information about their past lives together, about sacred contracts established before birth, about lessons that need to be learned and love that needs to be expressed. The physical brain then translates this spiritual perception into familiar sensations, a racing heart, a feeling of familiarity, an inexplicable desire to get closer. It's fascinating to observe how these encounters happen in a seemingly casual way, but are actually orchestrated by the higher forces that govern our destiny. You might be in a cafe, shopping at a store, waiting for an elevator, and suddenly, she appears. In that moment, time seems to stand still, and you feel as if the entire universe has conspired to create that encounter. Edgar Cayce teaches us that these synchronicities aren't coincidences, they're divine appointments, meetings arranged by the soul itself before birth. The sleeping prophet spoke about how our souls make agreements before incarnating, choosing the people who will be part of our earthly journey. These souls commit to meeting again, to helping each other in spiritual growth, to resolving outstanding karmic issues. When a man feels this magnetic and inexplicable attraction, it's his soul fulfilling one of these sacred agreements, answering the call of a soulmate who has returned to continue a story that began long before this current life. But not all of these encounters result in lasting relationships, and this too is part of the divine plan. Some connections are meant to be brief but transformative, a glance that awakens something dormant within us, a conversation that changes our perspective, a touch that heals an old wound. Edgar Cayce taught that every person who crosses our path has a purpose, even if we don't immediately understand what that purpose is. Sometimes, the male brain first registers a sense of protectiveness, as if recognizing someone who needs care. Other times, it's a sense of awe, recognizing a soul who has been their teacher in past lives. It can also be a feeling of completeness, identifying their soulmate, that other half separated at the dawn of time, seeking reunification across the ages. The interesting thing is that these perceptions happen in fractions of a second, long before the rational mind has time to analyze or judge. It's a process that transcends logic and manifests through what Cayce called intuitive knowing, a form of knowing that comes directly from the soul, bypassing the filters of the conditioned mind. And here we arrive at a crucial point in our journey together. If these revelations are touching your soul, if you're feeling this deep resonance with the words being shared, this is no coincidence. Your soul has brought you here because it's ready to awaken to deeper truths about the nature of love and human connection. And if you wish to continue this journey of discovery, if you want to receive more revelations about the mysteries of the soul and the universal laws governing our relationships, then I invite you to become part of this spiritual family by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell, because each video we share is like a seed planted in the garden of your consciousness, and together, we will nurture these seeds until they blossom into wisdom and transformation. Don't let the algorithm decide whether or not you receive these messages your soul so desperately needs to hear. Make the conscious decision to be part of this awakening journey. Edgar Cayce also teaches us that the timing of these encounters is never accidental. They happen precisely when we are ready for the experience that connection can provide. You might be going through a period of personal growth, questioning old relationship patterns, or simply open to receiving love in a deeper, more authentic way. It's in this moment of receptivity that your soul magnetizes the experiences it needs to evolve. The male brain, when connected with the wisdom of the soul, doesn't just seek pleasure or superficial satisfaction. It seeks recognition, understanding, the opportunity to express aspects of love that may have been repressed or undeveloped in past lives. It's as if each new connection is a chance to expand its capacity to love, to heal old wounds, to grow in compassion and wisdom. There are documented cases in Edgar Cayce's readings where he described how certain souls met life after life, always playing different roles, but always connected by a golden thread of eternal love. Sometimes, they were romantic partners, other times parents and children, close friends, or even adversaries who needed to learn to forgive each other. The important thing wasn't the specific role, but the continuous opportunity for growth and healing that these connections provided. When we understand this perspective, our approach to relationships transforms completely. We're no longer just looking for someone to complete us or make us happy. We're opening ourselves to sacred connections that have the power to transform us, to heal us, to help us become higher versions of ourselves. Each person we feel this inexplicable attraction to becomes an opportunity for spiritual growth, a mirror reflecting aspects of our own soul that need to be recognized and integrated. Edgar Cayce spoke about how our capacity to love expands across multiple lifetimes. Every experience of love, even those that end in pain or separation, adds a new layer to our understanding of the nature of unconditional love. It's as if our soul is a diamond being polished through experience, and each significant relationship adds a new facet to our ability to reflect divine light. The sleeping prophet also revealed that many of the difficulties we face in current relationships are opportunities to heal traumas and negative patterns from past lives. Perhaps in a previous life, you hurt someone through pride or selfishness, and now that soul returns to give you the opportunity to express humility and service. Or perhaps you were hurt by betrayal or abandonment, and now you need to learn to trust again, to open your heart despite fear. These lessons aren't punishments, they're gifts in disguise, opportunities for our soul to grow in wisdom and compassion. When we view our relationships from this perspective, even the most painful experiences gain a deeper meaning. We're not just suffering, we're growing, healing, evolving. The male brain, when aligned with this higher wisdom, develops a much more refined perception of the women it encounters. It begins to distinguish between superficial attraction and soul connection, between physical desire and spiritual calling. It develops the ability to honor women, not just as objects of desire, but as sacred souls on their own journey of growth and discovery. Edgar Cayce taught that true love is always transformative. It leaves neither party unchanged. When two beings connect on a deep soul level, both are elevated, both are healed, both are inspired to become higher versions of themselves. It's an alchemic process where two souls temporarily merge to create something greater than the sum of their individual parts. But for this transformation to occur, both parties must be willing to open themselves up, to be vulnerable, to allow divine love to flow through them. This requires courage, because it means letting go of the masks, the defenses, the protective patterns we've developed over lifetimes. It means trusting that the person before us is safe, that they will honor our vulnerability and share their own. The interesting thing is that this sense of security also happens in those first moments of meeting. The male brain, connected to the wisdom of the soul, registers not only attraction, but also spiritual compatibility, potential for mutual growth, capacity for unconditional love. It's as if there's an internal navigation system guiding us toward connections that will be most beneficial for our spiritual evolution. Dr. David, a prominent spiritual teacher, often spoke about the concept of soul groups, not just a single soulmate, but a group of souls working together through multiple lifetimes to support each other's growth and evolution. Within that group, there are different kinds of connections, some romantic, some familial, some deep friendships or spiritual mentorship. The important thing is to recognize that each meaningful connection is sacred and has a divine purpose. When a man develops this refined spiritual perception, his love life transforms dramatically. He stops wasting energy on superficial connections and becomes magnetic to the souls who can truly contribute to his growth journey. He learns to honor each woman as a unique expression of the divine feminine, each carrying her own lessons, gifts, and opportunities for healing. Dr. David also taught about the importance of inner preparation to receive true love. He said our souls need to be at a certain level of maturity and self-awareness to attract and maintain deep transformative connections. This means working through our own traumas and limiting patterns, developing self-love and self-compassion, learning to communicate authentically and lovingly. Often before we find our soulmate or most significant connection, we go through a series of preparatory relationships that teach us specific lessons and help us grow in areas where we still need development. Every person we love, even if the relationship isn't lasting, contributes to our expansion and prepares us for even deeper connections in the future. Dr. David spoke about how true love is never possessive or controlling. It's liberating, inspiring, expansive. When we truly love someone, we want to see them grow, flourish, express their unique gifts in the world. We don't try to change them to fit our expectations, but celebrate them exactly as they are, while also supporting their journey of growth and self-discovery. This way of loving requires a spiritual maturity that develops over many lifetimes. It's the difference between conditional love, based on what a person can give us or do for us, and unconditional love, based on recognizing the inherent divinity in every being. When we reach this level of love, our connections become truly sacred, channels through which divine light can express itself in the world. The male brain, when operating at this elevated level of consciousness, develops a natural reverence for the feminine. He recognizes in women not only potential partners, but also teachers, healers, and inspirations. He understands that the feminine carries essential qualities for his own wholeness, intuition, compassion, creativity, connection to the mysteries of life. Dr. David taught that the union of the masculine and feminine, both within each individual and between partners, is one of the most powerful paths to spiritual fulfillment. When these two aspects balance and harmonize, we create an energetic field that's naturally attractive to blessings, synchronicities, and positive manifestations. It's as if we become conscious co-creators with the universe. This understanding transforms not only our romantic relationships, but also how we interact with all the women in our lives: mothers, sisters, daughters, colleagues, friends. We begin to honor the sacred feminine in all its manifestations, recognizing that each woman is a unique expression of the Great Mother, the creative force that gives life to all existence. Dr. David also spoke about how our relationships are mirrors that reflect aspects of ourselves that we need to recognize and integrate. The qualities we most admire in a partner are often aspects of our own soul that we need to develop. The characteristics that most irritate or challenge us are often reflections of parts of ourselves that we need to heal or transform. This perspective transforms even the conflicts and challenges in relationships into opportunities for growth. Instead of seeing problems as evidence of incompatibility, we begin to see them as invitations to greater self-knowledge and personal development. Each challenge becomes a chance to practice forgiveness, compassion, loving communication, and creative problem-solving. Dr. David taught that forgiveness is one of the most important keys to healing and spiritual evolution. When we genuinely forgive, not just with our minds but with our hearts, we release both ourselves and the other person from negative karmic patterns. We create space for love and light to flow again, transforming even the deepest wounds into sources of wisdom and compassion. But true forgiveness isn't something we can force or fake. It emerges naturally when we understand the broader perspective of our lives and relationships. When we see that every person who has hurt us has also been our teacher, that every pain we've experienced has also been an opportunity for growth, forgiveness becomes not only possible but inevitable. The male brain, when it develops this spiritual wisdom, learns to see beyond superficial appearances and recognize the divine essence in every human being. This doesn't mean ignoring inappropriate behavior or accepting disrespectful treatment, but maintaining a compassionate perspective even in the face of human imperfections. It means separating the person from their behaviors, loving the essential being while setting healthy boundaries when necessary. Dr. David spoke about how true love is always constructive, never destructive. It uplifts, inspires, heals, transforms. If a connection is consistently bringing pain, drama, or destructiveness into our lives, that's a sign that we need to reassess the dynamic and possibly set clearer boundaries, or even temporarily distance ourselves to allow for healing and growth. This doesn't mean we should avoid all challenges in relationships. Growth always involves some discomfort, and the most transformative connections often take us beyond our comfort zones. The difference lies in the quality of the energy. Constructive challenges inspire us to grow, while destructive dynamics drain and diminish us. Dr. David also taught about the importance of honest and loving communication in relationships. He said that many problems could be solved if people simply learn to express their feelings and needs clearly and compassionately, and to truly listen to what the other person was trying to communicate. This ability of conscious communication is something that develops with practice and patience. It requires us to let go of the need to be right and open ourselves to truly understanding the other person's perspective. It means speaking our truth without attacking or blaming, and listening without defending ourselves or trying to immediately solve the problem. When we master this art of loving communication, our relationships transform into sacred spaces of mutual growth. Conflicts become opportunities for greater intimacy and understanding. Differences become sources of learning and expansion. What might have been a reason for separation becomes fuel for deeper connection. Dr. David taught that true intimacy, not just physical, but emotional, mental, and spiritual, is one of the most precious gifts we can share with another human being. It's the experience of being completely known and accepted, of being able to drop all defenses and simply be our authentic selves in the presence of someone who loves us unconditionally. This deep intimacy doesn't happen overnight. It builds gradually through moments of shared vulnerability, courageous honesty, and genuine presence. Each time we choose authenticity over image, truth over convenience, connection over control, we take a step towards true intimacy. The male brain, when it develops this capacity for authentic intimacy, discovers a level of satisfaction and fulfillment in relationships that transcends any superficial pleasure. It's the difference between satiating a temporary hunger and nourishing the soul enduringly. It's the difference between having someone and truly knowing someone. Dr. David spoke about how these deep and authentic connections have the power to heal us on levels that go far beyond the emotional. They can literally transform our biology, our brain chemistry, our energetic patterns. True love is one of the most powerful healing forces available in the human experience. When we are in a relationship where we are truly seen, accepted, and loved, our nervous system calms down, our immune system strengthens, and our capacity for creativity and intuition expands. It's as if love releases aspects of ourselves that were dormant, waiting for the safe environment of unconditional acceptance to flourish. Dr. David also taught about the importance of maintaining our individuality, even within deep connections. He said that the goal is not to lose ourselves in the other, but rather to find ourselves more completely through the experience of loving and being loved. Healthy relationships are like two candles lighting each other. Each maintains its own flame, while also illuminating the other. This understanding frees us from the need to seek completeness through another person. Instead, we bring our own completeness to the relationship, and together we create something even more beautiful and powerful. It's the difference between codependency, where we need the other person to feel whole, and interdependence, where we choose to share our wholeness with someone who is also whole in themselves. When we operate at this level of emotional and spiritual maturity, our connections become truly free. There is no possessiveness, jealousy, or control, because we recognize that true love can never be forced or held through force. It can only be freely offered and gratefully received. Dr. David taught that this freedom in love is a reflection of our understanding of the eternal nature of the soul. We know that our deepest connections transcend this physical life, so there's no need to cling desperately. We can love completely in the present, while also trusting that what is truly ours will return to us in one way or another. This perspective allows us to live our relationships with total presence and deep gratitude. Instead of constantly worrying about the future or trying to control outcomes, we can simply appreciate the miracle of having found a soul with whom we can share this earthly journey. Each moment becomes precious, each shared experience becomes sacred. The male brain, when it develops this capacity for loving presence, discovers that the quality of its connections transforms dramatically. Women feel truly seen and honored in his presence. They open up naturally, sharing their deepest truths, their most intimate dreams, their most vulnerable fears. He becomes a safe space where the feminine can flourish in all its beauty and power. Dr. David spoke about how this ability to create sacred spaces for love is one of the greatest contributions we can make to the healing of the planet. Every relationship we live with consciousness and unconditional love sends out waves of positive energy that spread far beyond our personal experience. We become agents of planetary transformation through the quality of our personal relationships. This responsibility may seem overwhelming, but it is actually profoundly empowering. It means that every loving choice we make, every moment of forgiveness we offer, every act of compassion we express, has an impact not only on our own lives, but on the energetic fabric of all humanity. We are all interconnected in ways that the rational mind cannot fully comprehend. David taught that we are living in a time of great spiritual awakening, where more and more people are opening up to these deeper truths about the nature of love and human connections. Those who consciously choose to raise the quality of their relationships are serving as beacons of light for others who are still searching for their way. And so, we arrive at the moment of integrating all that we have shared on this journey together. What the male brain truly sees first in a woman isn't the physical aspects that our superficial culture has conditioned us to value. It's the light of the soul, the spiritual frequency, the echo of connections that transcend this current life. It's the deep ancestral recognition of a soul group member, a soul who came to teach, heal, and love us in ways our rational minds can't yet fully comprehend. When we understand this truth, our approach to relationships transforms radically and irreversibly. We stop seeking in others what we can only find within ourselves. We stop trying to control or possess what, by nature, must flow freely. We begin to honor each encounter as sacred, each connection as a divine gift, each opportunity to love as a chance to grow closer to our essential truth. David reminds us that we are eternal beings experiencing a temporary time on earth, and that each person we deeply love is a piece of our own soul, reflected back to us through the mirror of relationship. When we see with the eyes of the soul, we recognize that we are never truly separated from those we love. We are all different facets of the same divine light, experiencing ourselves through the infinite dance of love in its multiple forms. May this understanding awaken in you the courage to love more deeply, the wisdom to choose more consciously, and the trust that your most meaningful connections are guided by a higher intelligence that always knows what's best for your soul's growth. And may you recognize, in every gaze that touches your heart, the reflection of your own divinity, inviting you home. Now let me ask you, when you look at the significant relationships in your life, can you perceive the golden threads of connection that extend beyond this current existence, weaving a tapestry of love that is far vaster and more beautiful than any individual story could contain?